Okay. If you are a dreamer, you can look to the sky as you search for a better place. You'll be inspired to march towards your goals and dreams of success while wide awake. Good morning to one and all present here today. This morning we are joined by a reputable man who has been in the captain profession since 1977. He has been kind enough to have taken time out of his hectic schedule to be here to influence us today with his speech. We welcome Babu sir, CFC director, who has been behind the screen but never fails to guide us in all aspects. Uni Krishnan sir, who is the principal of Benchmark and the hardworking faculty of SNS institutions. And last but not least, we welcome our beloved principal, Shija ma'am, to say a few words about Mr. SHAJI Madhavan sir and welcome him to the platform.
Good morning, all respected guest of the day, Captain SHAJI Madhavan. Then we are doing all these program on the guidance and motivation of our beloved chairman, sir, of SNS Group of Institution, Dr. S. N. Subramanian, correspondent, Dr. S. Rajalakshmi, and our technical director, Dr. Nalin Vimal Kumar. Our CFC director, CLT CFC director, Dr. Babu Dev Senapati sir, principals, directors, deans, staff, and future leaders of SNS, and one of my friend and also guiding factor, Mr. Unikrishnan sir. I welcome you all to this auspicious day and to the program. This is actually a happiest day for SNS because we are conducting so many webinar and we are interacting with various people, many people on different aspects by college students and school students. But this is a different program because as a human being, we are all something fascinated towards the sky. I understand that from the early days itself, man was so envious and fascinated towards all the birds because they were able to fly. And he was striving a lot and he invented and he started to fly with the help of aeroplanes. And it is an attractive force for everybody, for the children, for the small babies, and even for the adult people. An aeroplane is something which is attractive, something which is really fascinating. And this opportunity gives us to interact with a man who is controlling an aeroplane. This really thrills all my children, I believe. And even those who are studying technical part of that will be certainly finding it really helpful and benefited. And we are so curious to know various things from sir. So I don't want to extend and I don't want to waste the time where Shaji sir will be beneficially talking to us. So most of the children were asking me like to interact with different personalities. So when they expressed an interest to talk to a pilot, I was expressing my intention, my interest to my friend Mr. Unikrishnan, and without any hesitation, sir was helping me on the day itself. Sir said, "It is done. There is no doubt on that. I am here to support you." And with the help of Unikrishnan sir, I was able to interact with Captain SHAJI Madhavan, which was also a very pleasure incident for me, where he was very cool and very conveniently he was talking to me. I never expected a pilot will be speaking like this to me. So it was an interesting and really a great thing. So once again, I welcome Captain SHAJI Madhavan to today's program. And I welcome our director, Babu sir, Unikshan sir, all my staff, principals, deans, and directors who are watching this program. And more than all these things, we have a lot of leaders, young leaders in SNS who are ready to fly through various professions. So I welcome you all to this day and to this talk. And it will be great pleasure for all of us to know more about Shaji sir. And it will be great and apt if Unikshan sir is explaining about him. Then I'm talking because they have long connectivity and they are very good friends, and he will be the right person to introduce and talk about Captain Shaji Madhavan. I welcome Principal of Benchmarks International School and President of Kerala Sahodaya Confederation, Mr. Unikrishnan, to talk about Shaji Madhavan sir, and once again to welcome him to the day's program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shaji ma'am. Hello, everyone. SNS group of institutions have always been known for its great initiatives in providing opportunity to its faculty and students for academic updation and skill development. As a part of their special program, we have been inviting experienced professionals from various fields of life to talk to the students and faculty on several occasions before. And today we have a special guest here, Captain SHAJI Madhavan, a senior commander in AirAsia. And I consider myself to be the most suitable person to introduce him, because my acquaintance with Captain SHAJI dates back to the 70s. When we joined Indian Air Force together, we did our training together, we faced the hardships and the difficulties of the defense force together, we traveled together, we ate together, we slept together, we celebrated our achievements together, we accepted our defeat together, and in the progress of the life, he became a pilot and I became a teacher. He served Indian Air Force for 24 years before leaving the forces to join civil aviation. He was a squadron leader by rank in the Air Force when he left, and he joined civil aviation. He served as a pilot in Air India, in Kingfisher, and in Indigo, and now he's a senior commander in AirAsia. Probably is the right person to talk about the experience of flying to all of us. And when Shija ma'am told that SNS group of institutions could arrange several other professionals on various occasions to talk to students and the faculty, but they did not, they could not arrange a flying person, a pilot, to talk. Then I said, it is done as she said. And I spoke to Captain SHAJI in this regard, and without any second thought, he accepted the offer. And today we are here to listen to Captain SHAJI. So I hope this will be a great learning experience to all of us. And I once again welcome Captain SHAJI and all the students and the faculty who are available in this webinar to listen to him. And once again, wish you all the best and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Unikrishnan. Sir, let me tell you some stories before I start my formal interaction with you all. This story is about a few friends. 1977 is the year. You should go back to your memory lines where the facilities like this, high-tech, new generation things were not available. The communication was only through the bluish kind of alien letter. And few of our friends got together after we got selected in the great organization Air Force. The initial days were very tough, especially physically. We are taken to the extreme levels. But the only we used to look forward for meeting all these 3-4 of our people in the evening time when the sun is setting. We used to sit and have a cup of tea, thinking about present and future. I used to look at a boyish kind of person who is always present in that gang, always thought about the future, always thought about the career development. What are the facilities available after we finish our training? Every day, if I remember correctly, we used to depart from that point thinking about the next step towards our future. We finished our trainings, we went to different places. You know, the duties in the Indian Air Force is not all that easy. When we started doing our work as a part of air defense organization, our duties are also like the radar which is switched on, always available. But this boy, this person, availed all the opportunities. He did so much of hard work. He found out from the nearby universities. He got into the curriculum of that particular university. Nowadays, it is very easy to go to the Google and find out, but it's very difficult. You have to find your own time and go to that places, find out, join all type of courses, get all type of academic qualifications, and finally, when he is satisfied with the qualifications and the educations which he received, especially, then he left Air Force, thanking them, not forgetting about Air Force, and he joined in his favorite or the most sought after his premature retirement, I can say, and joined in the school. He served in so many schools. There's a capacity of a teacher. He is very modest and he put it across as a teacher, but he was always in the supervisory capacities in Navodaya schools, Dayapuram Residential School, and Airport Authority School, and Delhi International School, and finally now heading the Benchmark School, which is also one of the brilliant academic centers in Kerala. And also he is taking part in most of the activities of CBSE thing, and he's a very good coordinator and heading for CBSE management in all over Kerala. I am very proud of him, and if you are aware, he was awarded Indian President's Award in 2012. I think we can have a round of applause for him. So he is Mr. Unikishan, sir. Our friendship is for the last 43 years. And I wish him all the very best. And God bless him throughout his ventures. And now we are coming back to this program of talking to all of you. Greetings to all, and thank you very much for your kind words, Srija ma'am. And I am aware that your institution, SNS institution, is heading for so many innovative ideas, and very known not only in Coimbatore and all over the places, because before talking to you, I had some because I served in Sulu, Air Force Station Sulu for some time, so I'm aware of that. In my small talk, I segmented it about 3-4 segments. I'm sure it's not going to take much of time for me to talk, but later on we can have an interaction. And if any topics or points which you require a further explanation, I'm ready. I'm sitting at home in this pandemic conditions. Only difference, only the change or the alteration which one of the lady talked was hectic duties. No, aviation become very, very relaxed now. Anyway, so the segment starts from my school days. It's very important. Then joining Air Force. Then growing in Air Force with the aviation. Then some point of time, I leave military aviation and taking up civil aviation. So I talk in detail about civil aviation. Then coming to the qualifications, basic qualification in both the sides, how you can become a pilot, how you can become an officer. Thereafter, I will talk to you about the day of a pilot. Then, of course, we can have a interaction section. So coming to my school, I am from a school which is located very close to Trivandrum, a village school. Look back at 1965, where I joined the school. We didn't have even a proper seating arrangement. I still remember we used to sit on the floor, and we used to wait for the promotion to the next class so that we can sit in the benches. I am from a family which I can't say I am from a poor family, but yes, economically a backward family where I had my own difficulties in the beginning stage at least, because before coming for my school, I used to go to the small little field and complete that particular day's work, then proceed to the school. My parents were teachers, and the school where I studied, they purposely put me in a different school because my parents were not teaching there. I was not a brilliant student. I completed my studies in government syllabus, that is SSL 10th class. As usual, I didn't know where to go, what to take. Subjects I took was recommended or advised by my parents or some relatives with the intention of becoming a doctor. I went to the school. I went to that college. Nowadays it is school, but earlier we used to call it college. It was pre-degree. After 10th, you have 2 years of pre-degree before we go into the professional colleges or continue with the normal colleges. There was no entrance exams. we used to just to watch how much is scoring of the second year exams. I told you I am from a village, so I had to stay in a hostel. I have another three sisters who are more brilliant than me. They were brilliant because they were good in studies. They used to score good marks. So a sort of thing back of my mind is always there to do well so that I am an example to my sisters. But unfortunately, after 10th, when I came to the hostels or in the school, college, I couldn't perform well. So everybody got a turning point in their life. I think in my 12th class, one day after seeing my performance, the exams, class exams, my mother caught me when I was on vacation. My mother took the result sheet, answer sheet, and told me that we expect more from you. See, you are the only son. You have to do well. Otherwise, we will not be able to provide the same facilities because your father is earning less. Nowadays, if any parents talk like this, the children will always say that we are getting, daddy is putting price tag. But it's a fact. My father used to talk every type of expenditure and the income, especially from the small little land we had back home. Anyway, so I don't know, that time my mother was not very serious about it, but then the words which she told that particular time went into my heart. I said, this is a time I should either do well or look for a job. Looking for a job in the 1970s is not an easy task. The opportunity is very, very restricted. Lucky for me, there was an advertisement in the paper taking technical airman selection in Indian Air Force. I wasn't sure what is the life I'm going to have after getting selected. But I took a decision. So my turning point in my life was that I took a decision to join military, that is Indian Air Force. When I took the decision, I went back to my mother. I asked her. Then she said, is it necessary for you to start working now? I said, yes, because I know I can't make a good doctor. First of all, getting admission to MBBS those days, even now, it's very difficult. And if you don't have a flair for becoming a doctor, is not there, then why should I? So she said, you can join, but you are going to be away from me. Yes. I was in the hostel for 2 years. I was away from her. I was not much attached. My attachment wasn't there, so I could tell her I can still join Indian Air Force. I can come on vacations. I can meet you. She agreed and joined, and then my career started. I know I don't talk about my income and expenditure to my children. Most of the people are very hesitant in talking about. I don't know about you all. Most of the children listening to me may not like your parents talking about the income and expenditure. You might take it in another way. But yes, it's also good to make you more responsible. Talking about income in a family and expenditure, I feel it is good. So my Indian Air Force life starts. Indian Air Force, the life of Indian Air Force may not be known to most of you. You might think Air Force flying. No, it is not flying. It is flying and the allied activities. It's a part of aviation, of course, but we are getting prepared for fighting a war. Air Force is part of defense forces where we are every day we are getting trained to become a good soldier, or you can say good force which is capable of taking up any task. So every day you are busy. But during this period, opportunities come. Opportunities will come. We have to go and knock. I was lucky. I was selected for flying. After selection of flying, since we are from the direct entry from Indian Air Force, the standard of candidates, thereafter cadets, are to be brought up to the level of cadets who are coming from National Defense Academy, which is situated in Pune, and people can join after 12th class. So they are only being trained to become a defense officer. Whereas in Air Force, we have to be trained extra to get into the standard. For that, what Air Force does is, we had a college, Air Force Administrative College, which was located Redfields at Coimbatore. I was doing the training way back in 79 to 80s. Again, the physical training and getting into the basic knowledge of aviation, it was very tough. The subject which we had to study was aero engines, airframe, various electronics systems, electrical systems, and the main thing was meteorology. Talking about atmosphere and weather conditions, very important. So we had to achieve a level, then all these cadets are transferred to Air Force Academy, which is in Hyderabad. There your flying starts. You know how did I find my first flight? My first flight happened in 1981, a place called Bida, close to Air Force Academy and a part of Air Force Academy only, and we used to fly Hindustan Trainer 2, which is very small aeroplane, very slow moving, easy for people to get trained. See, flying training is something like swimming. You learn once, the basics remain same. Then one story about my first flight, which is called Air Experience. My instructor, he was very tough, but he wanted to show that he is more friendly. You can listen to him, don't listen to the others. So he took me up. We were doing various maneuvers, go to the left, go to the right. You can descend, you can make it dive, you can make a stall, lot of things. But the interesting story about that was, I still remember that is, he took me above his house. He told me, "Can you see my house?" I was very scared. I was very scared to look down. He told me, "It's a red painted house. Can you see my wife standing on the top of my house in the balcony?" He wanted to make my life easier. But I will never forget that flight because he made me so easy. I can tell you one thing, flying is easy if you have a good instructor with you. Instructor is like a teacher. A teacher who identifies the smartest boy is not a good teacher. I don't know. Please don't mind because it's all teachers around. A teacher who finds the below average boy or girl whom the teacher takes it as a challenge and bring him up is a real teacher. I have few in my life, and teachers were the most important thing in my life, right from my parents to the teachers whom I did my schooling and of course later on. So coming back to Air Force training, we do that training for 6 months, then come to Air Force Academy for our major training. Induction for Air Force Academy is very, very tough. For those who are coming through National Defense Academy, it's easy for them because they have already done most of the training. They do the gliding also at Pune. Then at Air Force Academy, the flying machine was faster. It's very tough to cope up. I told you like swimming. Now we are swimming in the sea. Sea could be rough. But anyway, there's teaching, learning, and it's a time where you find things work out for you also, and you are also in the group. So passed out, and at Air Force Academy, we have something called a trifurcation. You know, Air Force flying is in three different entities. One is fighter flying, one is transport flying, and another one is helicopter flying. It basically the preference for anybody to fly fighters, then to transport and helicopters. I won't say this is better or that is not better. Every flying, every activity has got its own merits and demerits. Fighter flying, as you know, fighter is nothing but a weapon launching station. The role is different. Transport flying is basically carrying troops and rations. At times, the flying becomes tough and very challenging also. Helicopter is more challenging because it operates in the mainly on hilly regions or forward areas, and the rescue operations are more tougher. But anyway, I got into the transport stream of Indian Air Force. I posted to different transport bases. It's very relevant to talk about the operations we used to do at Untitled Pradesh and border areas of Jammu and Kashmir. I'm not going into the details, but border areas of Arunachal Pradesh and these areas are air maintained. Means those days there was no roads, and even now most of the places are not connected with the roads. We don't want to spend more money on roads because it's very easy for the troops to come through the road. What we used to do is we go to the advanced bases, pick up their ration and day-to-day items for their living, for the Javans as well as civilians staying there, and go over the place, go around 1,000 feet, open a ramp. Ramp means the door which can be operated from it's at the back, and drop these items at the right spot and make a circuit and come back. Looks so easy, but it's not. Even a fraction of seconds delay could make this ration and other items to go into the cliffs and river or whatever. Very interesting phase of flying. And also we prepare for wartime flying duties, which are formation flyings, formation drops, para drops. During my 22-23 years of stay in Indian Air Force as military aviator, I experienced a wartime scenario when we operated for Indian peacekeeping force at Sri Lanka. Most of you can go back to your memory lines. There was about 42 LTT people committed suicide in a day, and I was there just after that, picking up few commanders and getting ready for the further military situations. I also operated in Maldives during 91. There were some military requirements. So I'm sure now you got a picture on military aviation. Now those who are aware of a movie called Gunjan, talking about lady pilots not treating well, but I can tell you that's not correct. Lady pilots were inducted during my time In fact, when I was in Chandigarh, there was 2 lady pilots. There was not even a single day where they had any problem with the other pilots. So girls listening to this talk can get motivated, and you can have an option. Now at 23 years of service, you are becoming senior enough to decide, think about your career, whether to stay back or to look for another career opportunity. Before talking about my decision, I will tell you about the career prospects in defense forces. See, defense forces is like a pyramid. Only one person reaches on the top. That means only one chief of air staff in Indian Air Force. That is Air Marshal. That is the topmost rank. Below him, there could be 5, 6, 7, 8 air marshals. Then coming below, air vice marshals. So it is forming a pyramid where everybody cannot get all type of promotions. So there could be a time. There could be a time which you have to decide whether you want to continue or wait for the so-called superannuation and quit. So in 1999, I thought that is the right time for me to think about this career. Why not to look for an alternate career? That's how I left military aviation and took a chance in civil aviation. So let me talk about civil aviation. It's entirely different ball game. The structure of civil aviation starts like this. It starts controlled by Civil Aviation Ministry, and we have a separate Directorate of Director General Civil Aviation, DGCA, and various companies. Any aviation is activities related to aeroplane. Let us think about manufacturing and the maintaining of civil aeroplanes. Manufacturing is out of question because Europeans and Americans gone far beyond our expectations, and now it's better we have to either buy the aeroplanes or take it on lease. It's a big business. It's going on, and we have plenty of companies available either to buy or to. I just put you a small point in this. We have a company called Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, which is based at Bangalore and different branches, different. It started way back in 1940s with a big dream of manufacturing aeroplanes. But where are we now? Boeing company in America, Boeing company, I think in 1911 or 12, somewhere that time started. Look at them. Look up Airbus company, which started 1940. Sorry, 1970s. Airbus companies gone much ahead of all in the in the field of aviation, civil aviation, and most of the companies in the world, including Americans, are dependent on them. Anyway, so we have aeroplanes, we have airlines, we have general aviation, we have again helicopters, and we have small aeroplanes which used for rescue operations in civil aviation also. In civil aviation, sky is opened up for buying and operating in 19 after 2000, you can say. 99, I left Air Force, and lucky enough, I joined Indian Airlines subsidiary company called Alliance Air, a project which started for looking after the communication activities in northeast part of our country. We used to be based at Kolkata and operate places like Guwahati, Dimapur, Jorhat, Dibrugarh, Agartala, all those areas. Weather in those areas are very tough, and life for anybody is very tough in Northeast. So most of the time, our operations were very, very beneficial to all these people. We used to operate in a small aeroplane. I'm sure most of you are aware of ATR 72, which is operated by other Indian companies also. Getting into any civil aviation airline, it's not that I have a qualification, so I can just go and start flying the aeroplane. No. In civil aviation, we have licenses. It starts from student pilot license. After completion of 200 hours, he can write an exam and get a commercial pilot license. Then more than 1500 hours, you can go for airline transport pilot license. So to fly an aeroplane in any airline company, you require an airline pilot license. I was lucky. I had that time 4,000 hours from Air Force, so I could go directly and write the exams. Then comes to the training of that particular aircraft. That aircraft belongs to France. There is no companies in India authorized to do the training. So we were told, go for a month or so at Toulouse. That is the place I realized one thing. Doing flying or knowing technical thing is very easy. But in India, we take English as the ultimate language. If you know English, you can survive everywhere. No. It's a big no in France. We had a tough time. Some of the instructors there were English speaking also. Otherwise, living in a hotel, asking for food, asking for anything was difficult. So, knowing one language is not enough, or assisting a person with one language compatibility is not a good idea. Coming back to the training, then completed the training, and we operated about 3 years in based at Kolkata, and came to, that is the time the boom of civil aviation started in India, starting with Kingfisher, Deccan, Jet Airways. One small incident about Jet Airways. One of the first flight landed at Sulu Airport, mistaking Coimbatore Airport as the landing place. Are you aware of it? It can happen. It can happen. I'll tell you about that in the basic qualifications and the exam procedures. So we continued with Kingfisher, and you know the story of Kingfisher. Finally, it collapsed. Before collapsing, I changed over to another company. During my stay at Kingfisher, there was something happened. My name is changed. Name was changed from SHAJI to SHAJI Madhavan. It's a very funny thing. During one of my flights from Chennai to Kochi, one of the ministers from Kerala traveled and he did something, and that incident was bloated up. Finally, that minister had to resign, and so many newspaper reports, they started putting my name as SHAJI Madhavan. Otherwise, I was SHAJI MS. I don't know what is SHAJI meant for, but during 1960s, maybe that my father thought it is a very modern name. But of course, I like Madhavan because my father's name, and also a God where I pray every day. Anyway, coming back to Kingfisher days, Kingfisher collapsed, and I had to switch over to another aeroplane. In Kingfisher, I started flying Airbus 320. From that small aeroplanes to a promotion to the big aeroplane. Of course, I had a airline transport pilot license, but that doesn't mean that you can go and fly any aeroplane. Yes, I had to go for again training. Again, the same thing happens. Again, the language problems in France. Finished the training and came back. Now, once you come back, it's not that you start flying. You have to get approval from DGCA that I am safe. I had to do some simulator hours with the examiners nominated by DGCA. That is a requirement. You have to show your capabilities. In each stage of flying, to the examiner who are designated by DGCA. Mind you, the exams and examiners are going to be with you throughout. Even if you become an examiner, still the procedure is same. That is a place your safety comes into play. In aviation, the safety is at most important. There are about 180 passengers sitting behind you, though they are praying for you, but at the same time, you have to be safe. I always tell my wife that don't worry, 180 people sitting behind praying for me today. Even if it rains, even if clouding, nothing happens. I give credit to them. So far, touch wood, my flying is accident-free, incident-free flying, which is God's gift. Another few years to go, and I like to tell each one of you to pray for me. The least you can do for me. So it continues. Any change of companies doesn't matter because it depends on the working atmosphere or the salary structure or the recognition by the management. A lot of things happen. So forget about that. And now I am completing so many companies, and now coming to this pandemic conditions, our flying activity is reduced, not so hectic. Otherwise, one pilot cannot fly more than 1,000 hours in a year. And mind you, in AirAsia, we used to do 997 hours and put a comma, then wait for the hours to drop, because as the day passes, your hours will come down, because it is the last 365 days. So this is how your programs are made. Okay, coming to my last, but one chapter is a day of a pilot. Day of a pilot is decided by the pilot only. I can tell you the shortcut. But no, there are some controlling authorities. First, it starts with the roster. You get your roster well in time. Accordingly, you can plan yourself and you get yourself picked up by a luxury taxi. I mentioned that luxury taxi. It's not because Shaji can't sit in a normal car. No, it is right from the earlier days. They were worried about our safety. The pilot's crew should reach the aerodrome safely. That's the reason they always gave us a safe car and a place. Whenever we stay outside, we stay very, very comfortably. So, your reporting time could be early morning. Your departure is 8 o'clock. I am there 7 o'clock or before. So the departure is 6 o'clock for an international flight. My departure could be anything more than 2 hours. Where do I report? Yes, in civil aviation also we have operational control rooms where centrally or locally controlled by the operational staff, and there we have an elaborate briefing along with my other crew. My other crew means if you are flying as a commander, you have your co-pilot, could be another captain, and we have a cabin crew and an engineer sometimes. So we all do our medicals. Then the medical means alcoholic check, and then go for the briefing, then get your bags done and go to the aeroplanes. Generally, it's about half an hour before our flight. Now, I am talking about civil aviation as per my point of view. No, more than pilot, there are so many activities going around. I had to touch upon that because the opportunities are plenty. We have commercial activities. When you buy a ticket, they are responsible for it. When you reach the aeroplane, they are responsible to check in and take you to the aeroplane, and security staff, and also maintenance. So all these things are actively involved in the field of aviation and makes the aviation very, very lively and interesting. And now pilots reach the aeroplane. It is something called walking around to see the aeroplane's conditions, then getting into the cockpit. Now, mind you, I have more than 120 computers running in the aeroplane. It's all centrally coming to us, a system called navigation system, where I had to plan. Say from Bangalore to Delhi, I have my flight plan, I just put it, and thereafter everything can be taken out. Informations are there. It's all worked out, planned for me. How much fuel required, how much fuel is my extra. I can always add my fuel depending on the weather. So then I wait for my passengers, my guests, my VIPs. They all will come. They all welcomed by somebody else, guest service. But mind you, the time you step into my aeroplane, we are concerned with you. It's something written on the just outside the cockpit door. This is the last point your worries can be taken. That is your personal worries. Anything worrying you, please stop. After crossing this door, there is no room for you to worry. Now, handling of situations. Handling of situations is very, very easy because there is no time for you to worry. Most of the things get delayed if you're worrying. If your decision taking ability is not there, then first worry will start, and then most probably, most of the cases, you generally don't reach to that level. Your decision can be taken with so many points put together. You are aware of the situation and then take the call, take the decision accordingly. Now my flight starts. You have something called the air traffic controllers, which comfortably we forgot. For each clearances, each aircraft going from place A to B is his headache, giving us different heights to fly, sometimes direction to fly. Making the air safety is their concern too. Because so many aeroplanes flying, so many pilots with so many backgrounds. So one thing common in aerodrome is the air traffic controller. Whatever he said, advise you, please follow it. That is the way we work. So I do my navigation. I get into my next office, that is the sky. For all these topics, sky is the limit. For me, that day sky makes my life. I look at the sky every day, and sky tell me different things makes my mood. Have you observed? You can also see the skies makes you feel good, bad, depressed. At least today onwards, start looking at the sky. Okay, all these youngsters, they will have aspirations touching the sky. It should touch the sky because that is the limit. But for pilots, that's another office to sit. I spent 3 hours reaching Delhi, 3 hours coming back, 6 hours. I am with the sky. I see the changes in the sky. I enjoy the sky. It is not always enjoying. A small turbulence can put you off. A little bit of clouding can put you off. But that's a way of life. So with this, I conclude my little talks on my professional.
Yeah, ma'am. As Shaji sir lost the connectivity, is he there?
Ma'am, did sir lose connectivity or network issues?
No.
Sir, it's not.
Is Shaji sir still available in the meeting?
No, sir, it's not to be seen.
I couldn't see him. Suddenly he lost connectivity.
Probably he must have lost the connectivity.
I'll just call. I'll try to call.
Let's wait. Yeah, let's wait.
Yeah, giving a call is a good idea, ma'am. Sir might not even be aware that the connectivity could have lost.
Yeah, right.
I called him, he said he's joining back.
Ma'am, after Shaji sir joins back, do we open up for question and answer by students?
Yes, sir, at least a few questions we will give it because already students are waiting with the questions.
Sure, sure. That will be good, ma'am.
He will surely join back, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir, sure.
Because he knows that there is an interactive session.
Oh, good, good. Okay, sir.
Ma'am, sir joined. Sir has joined, ma'am.
I thought it is gone. I thought it is.
Yeah.
No, sir. We are waiting for you. You can start the interactive session.
Okay, I've almost done with my initial whatever I could tell you. If I have missed out anything or if you want to clarify something, you're most welcome to ask me now.
Students are waiting for the questions, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Sridhar ma'am, let the children ask the questions.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes. Kana, over to Jovita or Ananya, you can take up the charge.
Sir, we thank you for your engrossing speech about your life. It was really fascinating to us all. We now have a few questions for you, and the first one is by Priti J, who is in 4th year of aeronautical engineering.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I'm Preeti Johnson from final year of aeronautical engineering, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, what inspired you to become a pilot, sir? Like,
I told you my life started in a different direction, but having a mindset for doing well for myself in terms of my career or come to the lowest getting more paid and having an opportunity, then why not? It's not that pre-planned. It is not pre-planned that I become a pilot or I dreamt to become a pilot when I was in the school.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I request Albi Peter of 3rd year Aeronautical Engineering to put forth the question.
Good morning, sir.
Hi.
I'm Happy Peter from third year aeronautical engineering.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please share your experience about an unforgettable moment that you have faced in your wartime?
Actually, flying is very interesting. Most of the time, you enjoy flying from A to B. One of the New Year day, when I was flying from Bombay to Mumbai to Bangalore, before starting of the flight, there was a request from a lady to give me a gift, which my cabin crew came and told me. I said, sorry, I can't take any gift. And but then we took off. We landed at Bangalore. Again, my cabin crew came and told this lady was waiting for you to hand over the gift. So I still refused, but she insisted that you give it to the captain, and she left. After that, this girl came and gave me this one, and I opened and found a small murti, small statues of a, my God, are you a believer? I'll be.
Yes, sir.
I am also a believer. So I especially believe in that God. And I got a present in that early morning of New Year, which I will never forget. And I tried to meet her. She was an old lady. I couldn't meet her. And I feel that is a very memorable thing happened in my life during flying.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, sir.
Thank you, Albi.
Please, can Sam of second year aeronautical engineering put forward that question?
I can't hear you, Sam.
He's muted.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Sir, so good morning, sir. So, this is Sam from second year of aeronautical engineering. So,
Hello.
what was your biggest fear and challenge that you faced, sir? And how did you overcome that, sir?
Biggest challenge was to bring up my children, because most of the time I was away from home. They see me on weekends or during my off days. That is a domestic challenge. Operationally, during my flight in way back in 1982 in the Air Force Academy, me along with my instructor had to land without wheels coming down. Understood?
Okay,
No?
sir. Thank you.
My landing gear could not
Thank you,
come
sir.
down, but we landed safely.
Okay, sir. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless.
Next, I request Akash of second year aeronautical engineering to put forward a question.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm Akash, second year aeronautical. How did you feel when you flew up in the sky for the first time, sir?
I told you, first time when I flew was in Hyderabad near Bidar. My instructor was very jovial and making me easy in the cockpit by giving a demo flying over his house. Understood, no?
Yes, sir. Thank
So
you,
I
sir.
thought one day will come, I can also fly over my house. And I flew over my house near Trivandrum from Sulur one day.
Thank you very much, sir.
I was purposely avoiding aeronautical engineering and its prospects because most of the career opportunity in civil aviation, including my own companies where I worked, I wasn't very sure about giving a concrete, career prospect aspect of this aeronautical branch of science, especially below among the companies and DGCA.
Okay.
I request Tejas Joshi of fourth year aeronautical engineering to put forward the question.
So, being a person,
I can't hear you, Joshi.
hello, sir, hello.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So, being a person who believes in understanding life lesson is the best way to understand life. So, can you say the most important life lesson you learned from your aviation career, sir?
Lessons I learned are quite a bit. You actually have to be, you have to develop confidence in everything. Whatever, right from the communication level to doing things, you have to develop a confidence. And you go through the leadership qualities. Most of the leadership qualities apply in the pilot and becoming a successful pilot.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye.
I request Prashant G of 4th year Aeronautical Engineering to put forward their question.
Only aeronautical engineering students have questions. Or old students.
So we do have, but first priority is given to the college students, sir. So next, when the time comes, the school students will be coming up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir,
Yes,
can you
Prashant.
share your experience regarding the Rafale aircraft?
Oh, Rafale aircraft. Rafale, so many people, so many medias discussed about it. And I can only tell you, Rafale is a requirement of Air Force. And you know, we are the fourth largest Air Force in the world.
Yes.
And having a good aeroplane to fighter aircraft is really worth. And it's been evaluated long time back. And I can assure you, while doing the evaluation, no political interest, nothing get involved in that. And it's a beautiful aeroplane, and it's a multi-engine, all-purpose aircraft with modern avionics, and it can also do laser bombing and etc. A lot of things. It's a worth buying this aeroplane, and other legalities, price, and all can be, you can forget about it at this stage.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prashant.
Next, we have Mritanjani of grade 11 of SNS Academy.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mritanjali.
Mritanjani, sir.
Mritanjali. Okay.
Sir, what is your message to the youngsters of today, sir? What would you like to convey to them?
Whenever I talk to my daughters like you, when I start advising them, they get up and go away from me. So I don't want you to get up and go away.
Not
I have
like
specific messages. Do well in life. Believe in God. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Akash Zakir of grade 12 of SNS Academy. I don't think Akash is available, so I will put forward his question for him. His question was, what was the turning point of your life and how did you handle it in that situation?
That means Akash would have listened to my initial part of my lecture, and I'm sure he understood, or he may be looking forward for his turning point.
Okay, the question answer session, Jovita, is there any other questions? So I think
That's all, ma'am.
that's all. Is there Melchida there? Melchida, I think she's just coming forward to put some questions, I believe. Melchida. We could see her, but okay, ma'am. Shall we move on to felicitation then? Shija, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Saraswati, ma'am, you can move
Shall we?
forward.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, yes.
Ma'am, general question, ma'am.
Okay. Now, shall we give, ma'am, do sir have time? Doesn't matter if you prolong. Doesn't matter if you prolong.
Can we take the 10 minutes, sir?
I have no problem, because it's very rare to meet you all. So you can always ask me questions. No problem. Ask question is a good sign.
Okay, Kana. Then the platform is open for others. Kana, you can just put forward your questions.
Yes, sir. So good morning, sir. Myself, Pragadish. So I want to know the life as you were serving to the nation and now serving as a civil aviation. So
Serving to the nation, both are serving to the nation. First of all, I am serving to my family. If you have a good family, good home, you are actually setting up a good nation, the part of nation, and I am serving for my family and setting up a good family, right?
Yes,
Whether
sir.
you are in civil or in military, all same. Am I make myself clear in that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
He's the son of a defense person, sir. That is why.
So my father is an army man, so
Very good. I am proud of army and defense. That is a basic foundation of my career. I can never forget that.
thank you, sir.
Anybody else, Kana? Anybody else? Sir, even my father was working in Air Force, sir. So his father is Mr. Raju, and he's been CPL couple. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. I couldn't pass the CPL exam. I mean, the CPL means that exam which qualified to become the rank, you know.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't pass that exam, which was very tough.
So he's 72 years old now. And I'm very proud that I'm daughter of a person who had served in Air Force.
Of course, I am also proud of you talking that your dad is from Air Force, and please convey our regards to them.
Surely, sir. Sure, definitely, sir. So now, Kana, over to Ananya and Jovita. Shall we move on to felicitation?
Yes, ma'am. Now I request Babu sir to facilitate a memento to our esteemed guest.
So first of all, thank you, Shaji sir. It was a wonderful session. Doctor aspirant now doing operations in the sky. Quite interesting to listen to you. We are very thankful. On a cool Saturday morning, you gave a wonderful session to all of us. And as a token of our love and gratitude, and for the time you spent with us, we would like to share a digital memento at this moment. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was wonderful.
Thank you very much. Looking forward meeting you all personally.
That will be great, sir. Yes. Our side too.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank
you. One second, sir. One second.
That is a vote of thanks, I believe,
Vote
sir.
of thanks, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, sure.
Sir, we're immensely thankful to Captain Mr. SHAJI Madhavan, who despite his hectic schedule has found time to come and join us with his gripping guidance. Thank you for your stimulating speech, sir. Your talk seemed to provide much needed help. It was intriguing to hear about your experience, your depth of understanding, and your ability to present the subject in such an interesting way produced one of the most memorable meets in our group's history. We are so grateful for your insights and advice. Thank you once again for making a significant impact on many of us, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It was an awesome experience.
Thank you.
Unni, sir, thank